So this lesson will make something like this. You blink to change and it lights up the face. That you can see the panels lighting up the face. Also the eye color change. We'll also learn how to make something like this. Like you rotate your head and you can see more of a scene. You can see it rotates the whole scene, which will make it you're able to make certain scenes like this, for example. So yeah, let's do it. So as usual, we'll start with the shearing effect. Then we'll add a face tracker, and then while the face tracker is selected, you'll do the texture extraction again, like we did in the previous video, then add a face mesh. Add a material, and then this time when we go to the material, we're going to leave it standard. Then change the texture to the face tracker one, and you'll see something like this. So then change this to to screen, and then it should look like this. Also as well, actually, I'll remove the eyes and the mouth. And then, so what's happening now is the face mesh is reflecting the current lights. So these are the lights that are automatically in the scene, added to every scene. So if I make these invisible, then it'll make it, the face mesh will go black. So then to see the effect, we will add a spotlight. And then now you can see that wherever the spotlight is on the face, it'll light it up on this part, on the side preview. So you can see the light is sort of moving on my face. And because we can't really see the lighting, we're going to add the darkener like we did in the previous videos. So I'll put that in the folder in the description again. It'll be V4 Face 4. So then drag in this full screen black one and drag it above the face tracker. So now it's more obvious how the light is working. So you could make that darker if you like. Let's go about 70-80%. And because now it's not following my face around, that just means it's not under the face tracker. So if I put it under the face tracker, then it will always follow my face. So you can play around with the position. And also you could change the color up here of the light. And then as well, you could do multiple. So while the spotlight is clicked, press Ctrl D. And then for the new one, move it around. You could change this color as well. You could change the intensity if you don't want it to be so bright. Or white, I think will just show the face, the actual face color. Also because you can see the edge of this edge of the mask, what we can do is we can add alpha to soften the edge a bit. So I'll put in the folder this alpha, and I'll call it face alpha. So import this, drag this into the project. When you're in the face mesh material, set the alpha, where is it, here, to the text you just imported, face alpha. Then you'll see it soften the edges up. You can't see the edges anymore. Now what we'll do to make the lights look more real, we'll make an object look like it's emitting the light. So we'll just use the same holograms image that we did from previous lesson. Drag in this hologram into this thing, into the project. And we'll do the quick import trick. So actions, animate, spin, drag it around, delete it. Then you have the panel, change it to flat and screen. Then we'll put it into the face tracker as well, drag it into the face tracker. Then position it where it looks like the light is coming from. And to make it look more real as well, you probably want to match the color of the hologram to the light. So you can just do that in the material. Maybe move it a bit closer. And actually I'll change this other light to not be white. I'll go back to this pinky color. And then, so the same trick as the previous lesson, I'll just Control C, Control V, so that way I have a different material. Change this material to pink to match the light. Then move it around so it's in the same position where the light is. So like in the previous tutorial, to make it a bit more interactive, we can do the blink trick so that one shows at a time. To make it easier as well, under the face tracker, I'm going to add 2 null objects that will house the panel and the light together. So for example, we'll take this one and this one together and drag it to the first one, and then these 2 together to the second one. Then with both the nulls selected, click this visible. And then we want this face tracker down in the patch again. And drag face to blink. And then blink to switch. And that'll be on one of them. And then the other one, you drag out of the switch to a knot. And then into the panel. So when I blink, it switches the panels. So like before, you could just add some text to the null objects over here. So you can see there's some 3D text underneath. Another advantage of having these null objects is you can move them around, and it will, you'll see the light will follow the object. So now if we want to do the glowing eyes, change the eye colors. We can, in the folder that I have in the description as well, there's a block here called AR eye color. If you just drag that into the project, so I already have it here, and then right click it down here and instantiate. So at first you're not going to see anything. That's because what you have to do with the face mesh, you have to bring the eyes back so that it makes holes for the eyes. Then click the eye color here, and then you can play with the settings in this. So I'll just take, for simplicity, I'll take this iris folds thing off. And then you only have to change this color. So I'll go to teal. And then the pupil color to the same. Then I put the pupil opacity to max. You can try both of them max, or just play with the settings. So yeah, you can choose your own colors as well. If your rest of your filter is in here, it just works as a normal eye color thing. So let's say I hide this as well. You could just change it to whatever eye color, and it will be just an eye color filter. So I'll put these back. As well, you'll see when the eyes go behind a panel, it blocks it. So what you have to do is your first 2 materials that you made, or second and third, click them both and change this to untick these. So now it should work at all times. As well, if you want the eyes colors to change with the panel color, what we'll do, just follow these instructions. So we want to link the iris color and the pupil color to the patch. So I'll click iris color and pupil color. So these options come up when you click the eye color in the object thing here. And then you want to drag the switch to an if. Then change it, while you click the if, then you'll see this, and change it to color. And then choose the 2 colors you want. So it will be teal and pink. Then you just connect both of these to this. Now when I blink, it changes to pink. So that's the basics of this done. So what you could do as well, you could duplicate, let's say the pink one, I duplicate it. Then you could make it more detailed by adding more elements. And then I could add this visible thing down here again with the other pink one. And then do it with the teal as well. Move it around. And put this visible down as well. The same one as the teal, the other teal. So you could just have fun with that as usual. You can add images, maybe tint them the same color as the hologram. More text. Yeah, just have fun. Maybe different gestures. We'll do this next filter next. So the first thing you want to start this one is under the focal distance, add a null object. Then under this null object, this is going to hold all the other objects in your scene. So we'll just add a few of the holograms again. So the same trick as before. I still have the assets in from last time. Animate spin to create the object. Then change it to flats and screen. Then because I want many of these, I'm just going to duplicate. So you'll notice pretty quickly you can fill the screen up pretty fast. So what this filter is going to do is it gives us more space to build a bigger scene. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it so when we rotate our head, we can see more things outside. So what I'll do is I'll just move this null object a bit more forward than these than the panels, about there, and then you hold shift, click one panel, hold shift, and select all the panels and drag them into the null object. So that way, when I rotate the null object, you'll see that they'll all rotate around like that. So you might have to experiment with the distance of the null object to the panels. So what you could do is select all the panels again and move them back a bit more. Yeah, just play with whatever you think looks the best. Then once you have a good distance, we want this rotation to happen with the rotation of our head. So how we do that is with the null object selected, you can see over here is all the rotations. So what we do is click this to link it down to this patch graph. And then, so when the face tracker, when you click right click the face tracker and create patch, it creates these three things. And you'll see on the outside, it's got position, scale, and rotation. So those are all the information that comes from the face tracker. So it's all to do with my head rotation, my head position. So you'll see what happens when I link this 3D rotation, the rotation of my head to the null object. It's going to rotate the same way that my head does. So for this filter, we're just going to use Y, but you could use all of them if you like. If you like this effect, and then just add more panels around, it can actually look pretty cool as well. So because I only want the Y, the way to do that is drag this and type multiply and change this to 3 vector 3. And then we want only the Y, so we'll times the X and the Z by 0. And then now, if I move my head, only the Y is getting used. And now, because we have more space to see more objects, we can duplicate more and fill up the space more. As well, it probably looks better if you don't see your face at the back. So I have this darkener from the first filter, the full screen black. Change the opacity to full. Then you only see your scene that you want to see. From here, you could change the color of the panels, maybe make some of them the pink one, some of them the teal one. You could add text, you could add images. You could even do it with 3D objects so that you can look around a 3D scene. Here's a quick one just to show how objects get added, and you can see how I've arranged them in the scene here. So as well, what you can do with the same logic of just connecting the rotation of output of the face tracker, you could link it up to an object. So for example, this alien, just click the rotation here and link it straight to the head, and then it will rotate with the head without following my head around the screen. And the way as well, you don't want these objects to be under the face tracker. So this was just under focal distance, the objects, and then link the rotation. So the same thing for this planet. If you want to rotate spheres with your head, but without moving with your head, And yeah, that's all for this lesson. Enjoy.